Now, up until this spring, you would know that most of my travels have been in the northeastern United States. I'm very familiar with the cities and infrastructure in this part of the country, but finally this spring I went through the southern US, possibly the most unique region in the country. I went to several states and many different cities and traveled all throughout the South. Here's the exact route that I took, all the way from New Orleans to Washington, D.C. In this video, I'm going to be explaining the top 10 shocking things I learned about the southern US. Number 10, the dollar stores. Now, of course, dollar stores are not unique to the South, but they dominate this region, especially Dollar General. Almost any rural town has a Dollar General. It doesn't matter if the population is 200 or 2,000. I even saw Dollar Trees and Family Dollar stores connected to each other in Mississippi, and a lot of the time there'd be a Dollar General right across the street. What many people don't know is that dollar stores have pushed out many of the mom and pop supermarkets, and most dollar stores don't sell produce or any fresh food. Many rural towns are too small to have a supermarket, but a dollar store can be found as a substitute. Number 9 is the high speeds on rural roads. Being from New Jersey, I am used to the speed limit on rural roads being about 45 to 50 miles per hour, but in the South they exceed that. Many roads in rural Mississippi and South Carolina had speed limits of 55 and 60, but most Southerners treat those speed limits as a suggestion. Of course, being from the New Jersey, New York area, I'm really used to fast and aggressive drivers, but despite Southerners being fast drivers, they really aren't that aggressive or reckless, which is quite a relief coming from the Northeast. Number 8 is flashing left arrows on traffic lights. I actually found these types of intersections in many southern states, including Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Virginia. These are not found in New Jersey. You'll see left turn arrows that look like this. And of course you have the New Jersey jug handle, but that's a whole nother video. Number 7, styrofoam cups. Where I'm from, you will almost never see a styrofoam cup, but they are dominant in the South. Almost every fast food chain, dine-in restaurant, and convenience store uses styrofoam cups. In New Jersey, most places use plastic cups, but in my personal opinion, I prefer styrofoam cups. They keep your drink colder and have a better texture. However, they are terrible for the environment, although plastic cups really aren't that much better. Number 6, the South is very rural. I'm from New Jersey, the most densely populated state, and the amount of rural areas in the South is very surprising. While there are many cities in the South, you can go from urban to rural within a 20-minute drive. It seems like in the South you either live in the city or in the country, while cities themselves feel more suburban outside of downtown than urban. And a good example of that would be Atlanta, where you can go from skyscraper to single-family suburban development within a few blocks. And cities like Memphis and Nashville are very suburban and spread out outside of downtown. And many cities in the South are very car dependent and not very walkable, especially in North Carolina and Florida. Number 5 is bad roads. Of course, being from the Northeast, I am used to really bad roads, especially in states like Pennsylvania and Massachusetts. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that it snows, and there's a lot of extreme weather in the Northeast. But it may surprise you that southern states have even worse roads. The worst roads were in New Orleans. Some of these side streets in New Orleans were so bad I was shocked. Mississippi certainly had its fair share of bad roads. And when I was driving from Memphis to Nashville on I-40, the road was so bad and worn out that the road started developing these crater-looking potholes. Although we got stuck in a traffic jam in the middle of Tennessee, and it looked like they were in the process of paving I-40, which is some good news. However, not all states in the South have bad roads. Georgia had the best roads of any state I've been to. In fact, I don't think I felt a single pothole until I crossed the state line into South Carolina, where the roads were terrible. Overall, you wouldn't think that the South has such bad roads, but you would really be surprised. I mean, just some of the side streets in New Orleans and some of the rural towns in Mississippi was just astonishing. The South really needs to upgrade their infrastructure because they are definitely not caught up. Number 4, no tolls. Of course, living right outside of New York City, I am used to tolls. New York and New Jersey are filled with them. Almost all bridges, tunnels, and roadways are tolled. But in the South, that is not the case, as I did not hit a single toll plaza until we got to Atlanta. But it turns out that toll booth was closed for renovations, and we didn't have to pay a toll until we crossed the Chesapeake Bay Bridge and Tunnel, which was a whopping $16, which is just as bad as those tolls you have to pay in New York City. However, those views of the Chesapeake Bay are stunning. Number 3, regional fast food chains. Here in New Jersey, there are not many regional fast food chains. You'll find your basic chains like McDonald's and Burger King, but regional fast food is king in the South. Whether it would be Bojangles, Zaxby's, Whataburger, Crystal, or Cookout, you'll find a plethora of fast food. My personal favorite is Jack's, which is located in Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. The burgers and wings here are top-notch, and I would highly recommend it. Of course, you also have the world-famous Waffle House. Alabama tops the list, as Alabamans consume the most fast food of any state. All these delicious fast food joints contribute to the high obesity rate in southern states. Number 2 is the variety of music. Music is very important in the South, and it changes by state and region. You have jazz in New Orleans, the blues and the rock and roll that have their roots in the Mississippi Delta and Memphis, while Nashville is known for its country, and Nashville is nicknamed Music City. Of course, you have the bluegrass in Kentucky, and Atlanta is known for its hip-hop scene. Almost anywhere you go in the South, you can find great music, and there is certainly a wide variety of music across this region. As someone who has a passion for music, this is one of my favorite things about the South. And finally, number 1, the South is not as backwards as people think. There are a lot of stereotypes about the South being backwards and racist, but these are certainly outdated stereotypes. In my personal opinion, the South is not backwards, and I saw white people and black people getting along and talking together. I think that racism can happen anywhere, and it's not just the South. In fact, I saw only 4 Confederate flags when I was down there for a week. And to be honest, I've seen more of those flags in rural Pennsylvania than I did in the South. I think that if we see the South itself and we don't go off of stereotypes, I think we can learn a lot. Okay, and there you have it. Those are the top 10 shocking things I learned when I traveled to the Deep South. Overall, I love the South, and every state was totally different. And I think we can all learn a lot from this region. And I really hope to do more road trips in the future, maybe a road trip out west or maybe to the Midwest. We'll see. So that's going to be it for today's video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and God bless to all you guys.